Hello YouTube and fellow card collectors, this is Eric J and welcome to the channel. Today we're continuing my series of reviewing products and card games and games that pulled me away from sports cards collecting in the mid-90s until I recently got back in late 2018. We're continuing with part 4 of reviewing Decipher's Star Wars customizable card game. In this video, we'll look at the dark side halves of the A New Hope expansion and Hoth expansions, which came out in July of 1996 and for A New Hope, and November of 1996 for Hoth. There are 162 cards in each of these sets, 81 on each side, split up evenly amongst rares, uncommons, and commons. There was dual rarity at each level, so some of the rares are rarer than others. So there's rare 1, rare 2s. Same thing with uncommons, same thing with commons. As I mentioned in other videos, when I sold off the majority of these cards, I kept 3 copies of the limited versions of each of these cards, which is what's in the set. So it's actually 3 full dark side sets, light side sets also, but since we're showing the dark side. So we'll start with A New Hope, which finishes up the episode 4 Star Wars A New Hope movie with some additional characters and shots from that movie. And this is pre-special edition version, so it's cards in some cases will have pictures of a character that you might have only seen once, like in the background of the cantina, for example, which is one of the things that I always thought was cool about these cards. But in any case, we'll just page through these to show you some of them. Greedo was an important character, and yes, Han did shoot first. For those that are following Star Wars lore. I played this set quite a bit when it came out with my friends, so these are the cards that I use the most, and I can still use them pretty quickly, pulling them out of the binder for making any casual type of decks that I want to make and play at the moment. As I mentioned though in the other videos, I'm not going to go over the rules of this game and whatnot, that there are other avenues and channels for that. Just showing off some of the cards. You can see quite a few characters. They even introduced creatures in this set. So the fun creature that Luke and the gang ran into in the trash compactors in here. They also introduced these epic type events in this particular set, so you could go blow up a planet if you wanted to in the game. So as a dark side, you had the ability to basically do exactly what dark side did in the movies, and that was, I guess, one of the appeals. Definitely was one of the appeals to this game, is that you had the option to really immerse yourself in the movies with the characters and events and actions, and basically recreate the movie right in the cards, assuming that both light and dark side were playing decks that made you interact. The way the game worked, you could sometimes never really interact too much with your opponent, but could still do Star Wars-y things, which is what I think we all enjoyed about it, the game. at least those that were playing. A bunch of locations here. I will say, from playing games like this and video games for Star Wars and reading, expanded universe novels, is you start to learn random names of aliens and planets that if you weren't in the Star Wars lingo, wouldn't know what was going on. I'm sure the same was happening with those that were really into Star Trek or pretty much any other intellectual property out there. I can see it with some of the younger generations with Harry Potter and Twilight, those sort of things as well. But I am of an age group that Star Wars really spoke to me. So those are the dark side cards for A New Hope, and then on to Hoth. So you'll even get some of the admirals and officers that you only saw briefly. Ozzel gets choked out by Vader pretty quickly in Empire Strikes Back. And Piet. And General Veers. So, if you got a younger crowd that hasn't really watched Star Wars, you might recognize the actor here. The actor plays one of the maesters on Game of Thrones. So, I always find it interesting when you get certain actors that end up crossing intellectual properties. He was also in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So, interesting little tidbits. Of course, a Wampa, another creature. Another event, this Hoth set is all about landing on Hoth as the Empire and rooting out the rebels. We really enjoyed playing theme decks, my friends and I. Make sure that both sides were playing on Hoth, both sides playing on the Death Star, wherever. Even if it wasn't always the most competitive way to play, sometimes you need that immersion just for a little bit of fun. And again, that's what drew me to this game. Intellectual property that I enjoyed, could have some fun with. A little bit of element of collecting, and playing games let me chase down a competitive streak that I have from time to time. A nice avenue to be competitive. A couple more Star Destroyers there, and then a bunch of AT-ATs. So, in any case, this is the last of the dark side cards for A New Hope and Hoth. Next video, I'll show the light side cards. As I mentioned in my other videos, these will kind of be sprinkled in amongst my regular content, which is primarily showing cards that I'm picking up from time to time and creating pack fresh sets, which is how I've always enjoyed collecting sports cards. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you wish. It's all appreciated. I look forward to talking to you all in the future and on future videos. Thanks, and we'll talk to you soon.